Hey, good morning, guys. Today we're going to go ahead and go through the process of an application through Connect. This process here will be, of course, for all of our Advantage merchants. They will go through this process here and we'll be showing step by step and the signature process as well. First, as soon as you log into Connect, of course, over on this left-hand vertical menu to start the application, you will select the Merchant tab, select the application process here. I do have one that we are working on, and we're just going to go ahead and just start. So I am going to select this one, and we'll go ahead and start. So first, of course, it'll be asking you for the DBA on this location search. So we will go ahead and add that information. And once there, if the merchant location or DBA does appear in the bottom here, you can go ahead and select. And what that will do is pre-populate all of the address, zip code, and everything on this next page. So since this one's not, we'll just go ahead and type the name in, hit next. And this is where we start the process with inputting all that information. So here, we'll go ahead and just start. So you can see when you're in the process of typing it in, that address will appear. So once you select it, of course, it will pre-populate all of the necessary information into each box. And then enter the time that the company started, enter the location number, services. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and search what we have currently. And we're going to go ahead and type that in here. All right. Once you got all of that, you will go ahead and click next. As you can see during the process of each location being filled out, once it is checked off, circled green and checked off means that everything has been filled correctly. So then we'll go ahead and add the rest of it here. If the location address is the same as your previous location selector here, you can just select same as location. That'll auto-populate everything that's needed there. The entity type, of course, this is meaning if it's an LLC, S Corp, C Corp, sole proprietor. In this case, it's an LLC. The email address here, we can go ahead and put down the email address we'll be sending all that into. So right here, this one, I will be sending it to myself. In this case, of course, you'll be sending it to whoever's going to be receiving the email. State that it's of the organization, the date that it was formed. So we'll just type in that information again. Here, you'll put the EIN number for the company. And then once done there, just hit select next. Now, the next one is, of course, the owner information. This is where you'll go ahead and have all that information as well, the owner. Go ahead and start putting that information in here. If the location is home base, of course, you'll select either the addresses here. If it's different, we'll go ahead and just add that. All right. Sorry. Go ahead and do that. Now here below, of course, ownership percentage, you can place that there. You'll go ahead and select yes. Here, you can either select to pull credit or not. In this case, we're not going to be pulling credit, but in most of them, of course, we will. Job title, of course, of the owner. You'll just type in that. Type in the owner's birthday. And then the email address, of course, that it's going to again, which will be, go ahead and just put mine in there. Phone number for the merchant, for the owner, you can put the phone number down if you do have it. If not, you can go ahead and just put the business down. All right, down below, of course, we're going to go ahead and place a social. So in this case, we are putting the social number in there. And then the driver's license information, we'll go ahead and place that in there as well. And the state of the license that it's been placed. Once everything's been inputted here, go ahead and click next. So you can see that's checked off one more time. Now in this product section, of course, when these are deselected, of course, it'll be down here. You'll select the first one. So if it's either a TSYS or a first data mid, in this case, we're doing a TSYS. So we'll make sure that here we can go ahead and put the average purchase. So in this case, we're just going to go ahead and put bucks. Average monthly, you can put down, of course, that information you will be receiving from your sales rep. future delivery, meaning how long does it take from the process of the beginning of the contract being signed to the end of the job being done. Most of the time we'll be selecting the 15 to 30 day. In this case, this is a smaller business, so we'll put the smaller one there. The swipe and keyed in rate, of course, just differentiating in whether they swipe more or key in more. In this case, this account keys in a lot more than they swipe, so we'll just put 2080. And everything here, of course, is left as is. For the card not present questionnaire, this needs to be filled out if this number here is greater than 50%. So in this case, it is. So we just always want to make sure that the type of questionnaires they're doing is through an internet service gateway, which of course is our MX Merchant platform. And then advertising method, just the way they advertise. Most of the time, everyone does online nowadays, so we'll do that. The billing method, always want to set monthly at 0, yearly at 0, and then one time at 100%. Once there, go ahead and go to feature. In this section here, of course, you want to check off anything that they will be accepting. So in this case, we are going to be accepting Visa debit, Visa credit, MasterCard debit, MasterCard credit, American Express, and Discover. So we make sure that all those are highlighted yes. Automatically, it'll populate itself to yes down there. So we always just leave that alone. Once done there, we'll go to pricing. Now, as you can see here, this one's already pretty much priced out itself. You do have different pricing templates if needed. If not, you can create your own pricing. In this case, this one is a pass-through completely, so we're just adding everything that we need on there. Again, this is completely up to how you handle and take care of that pricing. Once the pricing is filled out, billing is the most important. This is where we're entering that banking information. So what we are doing here is we are going to go ahead and once you have the routing number and account number, this is where you'll go ahead and place it. So in this case, there we go. And then so you can see it automatically will populate that bank name once the routing number is inputted in the system. All right. Once you have there, of course, once the equipment and boarding documents can be left as is, you'll just go ahead and hit that backspace. You'll see it'll probably start rotating and save it. Once you do that one, of course, the next one is selecting the MX Merchant, which of course is giving the option of just having the MX Merchant platform on the back end set up correctly. So what we'll do, of course, third-party applications. Normally the ones that are very important here would be Inside, ACH.com, ControlScan, of course, and QuickBooks. MX Storefronts more for retail directly, mom and pop shops, things like that. eTab would be more restaurants. And then once we go down here, you'll select the visible of MX applications. So in this case, we always want the MX base, the invoice, B2B, account updater, bin lookup, developer, and MX Advantage. If we are doing the Advantage program, you want to select that as yes. And when you do, the enabling the basic feature is when you're entering that MX Merchant. So the Advantage, of course, you'll select yes and yes for both. You'll enter that Advantage programming there. You'll enter that percentage that is required to have MX Advantage. So we'll go ahead and just normally whatever percentage it is that you're doing, you'll do there. So in this case, we're not doing the Advantage on this one, so we'll just leave it as is. And then we'll go to pricing. Now on pricing, this one right here, there is a global template that I normally just use 100% of the time. This will pop up every single pricing there is for each and every one of those apps. Normally, if we're doing the Advantage on these ones, these are set at 0. So we'll just go ahead and save that in there as well. Once you're done there, all you'll just hit the back arrow. That'll save all of that information in there. And once ready to go ahead and send, as you can see, everything is checked off. Perfect. We'll hit next. Also too, if you want to add any notes to that application, you could by just clicking on this little box here. If there's any forms and documents that need to be attached as well, you can also attach this by just clicking on that attachment, hitting that plus sign, and being able to pull up any file that you want to attach. All right. Once here, of course, everything is automatic populated. So all you have to do is, of course, click on that. It'll automatically populate that template. Your email template is application submitted. The customer's email is you're going to place the email address that you want this application to go to. Make sure you spell it out right. Gotcha. Perfect. And then all we're doing here is selecting to send the completed application to client for signature. Once you do that, just go ahead and click send. And that sends that application off to the customer.